Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mediocre Takes podcast. Today, we're talking about Bigtop Burgers Season 1. This is a show about people who work at a burger truck who dress up as clowns. So let's just get into it. So for the plot summary, in Big Top Burger, we follow Steve, Penny, Tim, and Billy as they work at a food truck selling burgers. In this season, they fight a deer, have conflict with the rival food truck, and more. Okay, so was that Cats the Musical reference?
It was, and it is an actual part of his lore and not just some throwaway line.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering because like Steve mentions he was in a Broadway once, and then we cut to a backflash of the musical he was in. And I was like, wait a minute, is that Cats? I've never seen Cats, the movie or the musical. I only realized it because I watched some video essays about how terrible the movie is, and when I saw that, I was like, now wait a goddamn minute, wait a minute. I kind of love that though, in a bad way, you know? I love how the jewel is basically just some random shape, like some random blender shape, and it's not even look like an actual jewel. And for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, Steve like mentions like he took a hit of this jewel and it did things to him. And when he's holding the jewel, it's just this cylinder. It just hit hard for me. I don't know. Steve doing the Naruto run was surprising, but at the same time, I feel like I should have seen it coming. Also, I love the rival food truck that is in this web series. I really like their character designs. I think it's just really cool. I love how one of the characters has to question, do we still sell burgers? And the scene where Steve fights the deer or whatever animal that was actually pretty good. And that's it.
Okay, so what were your first impressions of all the main characters?
To be honest, I only really focused on Steve.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because he's just that girl, you know?
He is that girl.
Yeah. But other than that, Penny, I think I really liked her. I honestly thought they were all fine characters. I think what really sold me was that scene where they took off their makeup off and went back home. I feel like that scene especially made me realize, oh wait, these are actually pretty decent characters. And I liked where the guy in the first part of the season is like talking to them and he shows up again at the end. And he's like, wait a minute, you guys aren't just actual clowns. That scene really just sold these characters for me. And I really enjoy them.
Yeah, I agree. Like Steve, I cannot express how much I love everyone's favorite space clown. Besides that, Billy is my favorite straight man. And I think in general, I love the personalities of all the characters and how they really mesh well with each other. And there really isn't any sort of like weird animosity going on. Not weird, but sometimes with groups like these, they'll like purposefully make at least one character not like the other. But with all these characters, it's just all like fun and lighthearted, and they're all collectively confused about Steve.
Yeah, I think what really sells this show is Steve and the wacky things he does throughout the entire series.
Yeah. Also, guys, if you watch this, which you should, you definitely should, put the captions on. It adds so much to the story, and I will forever appreciate people who put effort into their captions. Episode 2 really solidifies the Roar XD so randomness of Steve's character. That's the one where he fights the deer. But because of the other characters around him, it's not overwhelming. You know, it's no Teen Titans Go, if you catch my drift. Okay, I think episode 3 was the first episode I watched from the show, and honestly, it's the best one of the season in my opinion. I could not even give you an estimate on the amount of times I repeated the phrase. I won't say it in the same voice, but I could after this recording, Marco, I could show you. But the phrase of the little clown boy that says, "Hello, Mrs. Cloud, may I have a bowl of soup?" After I like
You called me Michael.
Yes, which is my brother's name.
Do I fill that role for you, Mel?
Definitely not. But you know, Michael, Marco.
Yeah, I
I
get it.
actively. Plus, you guys are like basically the two men in my life besides my dad. But like every time I'm about to say either of your names, I have to pause for a second and be like, "Say the right name."
Really? That's so funny.
Yes. But where was I at? Oh, yeah, just that phrase in general. Whenever I like after watching this episode, whenever I was alone, I was repeating it. Also, the captions call him suspiciously shaped child, which I think makes a lot of sense.
That child was so weird. Like, what?
It was Steve.
And then I think it was what's her name? Penny was like, I'm good with kids. And then she meets him and she's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. Chris Flemings is the voice actor for Caesar, I think is his name. And he is honestly one of my favorite comedians. I have been a fan of his show. I think it's called Gale. He plays a character named Gale, I think, since like the beginning. And Marco, if you don't know, Chris Flemings is like if Brandon Rogers took medication. Oh, and I think like the whole like zombie burger thing. Oh my god, I love that there's an exact opposite of Big Top Burger, and I loved seeing the dynamic between them. Okay, yeah, it was kind of weird to see the characters not in their makeup, especially since I was watching these episodes like when they were coming out, and it would take months for them to come out, obviously, because it's one person doing all the animation. But like, when I saw them take their makeup off, it was like when a luchador takes his mask off. Like, that's not supposed to happen. I did love seeing the pictures of them during their leisure time, during like the when they were showing the credits. I think my favorite picture was the one where it was the zombie crew at a restaurant, and you can see in the background the Big Top employees stalking them behind a menu.
Overall, I think this is a pretty fun season. Mal, will we be reviewing season 2?
Oh, most definitely, especially since it has so much more Steve in it.
Okay, well, I'm excited for that because this is just a really fun show. I think the jokes are really good most of the time. Well, actually, pretty much all the jokes are good. It does have kind of raw XT randomness humor in it, but I feel like it's still grounded somewhat, which is what makes this show still good despite the randomness of the humor. I also just think that despite being random, a lot of the jokes are actually funny. So yeah, I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I recommend everything Worth It Kids makes, especially Captain Yajima. Oh my god, dude, Captain Yajima is amazing. Yeah, but like these episodes are so short, yet always so fun. And unlike other shows that go from being episodic to more plot focused, cough cough Help Boss, this did a really good job of doing that. I have watched season 2, but they go into a lot more backstory of Steve, which I really liked. And I just think in general, this show is just so cute. It's so funny, and it's so short, and it's easily accessible, which means that everyone right now needs to go watch it. And then watch Captain Yajima after, because I love that one so much too.
Anyways, you guys, that's our thoughts on Big Top Burger Season 1. If you want to send us a voice message on Spotify for podcasters, there'll be no description changes below. That's my Instagram, Bluesky, TikTok, and YouTube channel. That will all be in the description, and that's everything, so goodbye.
Hello, Mrs. Clown. May I have a bowl of soup? That's what I would say to myself.
Wow, I love that for you.
Thank you. Hello.